Yo, what's up? I'm 20.
Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
What's your birth year?
2005,
Okay. And what month are you born?
November.
Okay. Election held today. Harris versus Trump. Who would you rather vote for?
I'd rather vote for Trump. Can I add a comment first before we get into the debate?
Sure.
So I used to debate you guys like when you first started, and you would get donations for 666, and like that's how you guys kind of promoted yourselves as anti-Christians.
As
And now it seems
anti-Christians,
like you
you mean
guys
you mean
are
that we would
on,
just say prove to me
especially
God exists?
And Dean's in here. He's into philosophy, and it's kind of seems like he's changing his tone on Christianity in general and for the existence of maybe a God. So I'm interested to hear his thoughts on why he's kind of making this not full transition because he's not a Christian, or I don't necessarily know if he's an atheist or agnostic. But why is it all of a sudden that you guys went from heavily dissing on Christianity, saying 666, like being into that realm, and now you're almost
If
like on a
someone calls me
pursuit
satanic or
of knowledge?
demonic, I will totally make that joke still. Like what?
No, I'm asking Dean in particular, since he's also up here.
Dean,
Sorry, what
if
was
you
the
want to respond,
question?
you can.
What is the question being asked?
My question is I'm interested on how you've made the transition from being like fully anti-Christian when you used to get like 666, and you kind of promoted yourself in that way as almost like an anti-Christian creator. And now it seems like you're on more of a pursuit into the realm of philosophy and arguments for a potential creator. Like, what made you transition?
Because I think that you could be a good Christian, and you could practice your religion in a way in which is benevolent for the world around you. And I'd rather foster a community that is inviting to people of all walks of life, including Christians, Muslims, and Jewish individuals. And instead of saying that your religion is false and your religion is crazy and your religion is bad, more so promote the idea that regardless of what my personal thoughts are on your religion, there's a benevolent way to practice it. And generally, the virtues that are explored, taught, and exchanged on my live stream would be the benevolent way to practice it.
I think the galaxy.
So would you ever, like, there's some things that if someone asked me, like, one day, would you ever be like a communist? I could blatantly say no, because I just don't see any future where I could become a communist. But in your guys' minds, is there any way that one day you would believe in Christianity, or is that far gone?
I don't see that happening.
So I'm an agnostic, meaning that it's possible, but I mean, I don't know if it's too likely. Plus, like I concern myself with many different fields of study. I just don't really find one of the fields of study that are interesting to me to be theism. I'm much more concerned with investigating, epistemology, investigating ethics, metaethics, investigating metaphysics. And like those things are what I'm interested in, and how those kind of tie into like the real world and how we could apply them to politics and debates to change minds. I guess I just don't really care that too much. I don't care that much about theism.
It's interesting to me. I know that you guys are super interested in politics in general, but I think a lot of people start with politics, but then they also transition into the idea of there being an existence for God, because if you spend so much time focusing on politics, it's also bringing up a lot of negative things within the world you live in. And I feel like answering whether or not there is a God kind of settles a lot of that tension in and of itself, because there's something
I'm
beyond
agnostic. I don't think
yourself
that's
that
going
you're
to
ultimately
change because I
striving for.
don't think that you'd be able to provide evidence. If you want to tell us why you support Trump, that you can.
Yeah, I support Trump because I think that I uphold conservative values, like there being a strong border.
Okay. You know that Democrats still want to criminalize undocumented entry. They just want to make the legal process go quicker.
Okay, I mean, you can say that, but that's not actually what they're doing if we look at Biden's administration.
The bipartisan border bill did just that. It increased the amount of border security. It would have provided funding even for the wall, and it would have made the legal process for asylum go quicker. That is what they advocated for and what they tried to pass under their administration. You know who tried to undermine that bill? Donald Trump. He called people in Congress, Republicans in Congress, to not vote for the bill because he didn't want Democrats to get a win on the border.
Okay, so I don't really care about what people like hope for. I care what they actually do. And if we look at the amount of boarding crossings under Biden compared to Trump, Trump has done a much better job. Would you agree with that or no?
So I think that I wouldn't say that's a better job. I would say that there has been a decrease in the amount of border crossings, but that doesn't necessarily mean conditions are better or that what they did to be able to produce that is better. right? For example, if like the country would got like nuked itself, less people. Bro, you're in the bath, bro. What a weirdo.
That's Dean, bro. He's Rage Vader.
That's Dean,
D1
bro.
Rage Vader. Dean is
Dude,
cooked.
this guy, man.
His first time ever
No, it's
ever
just me.
taking a bath.
No, that's just me. Everybody in the chat was spamming Dean is in the bath. So then I filled my sink up with water and splashed it around with my hand.
Dude, this
You're
guy,
trying to get
man.
me kicked. That's crazy.
Dude, this guy. I genuinely
trying to
thought
get
it was
me
the guest,
kicked.
bro. I was like, no f***ing way. I got bathtubed again, bro.
Sorry, bro.
Low key, you should honestly probably be in the bath. Do you shower?
Yes, of course I do, man. What?
Okay, I was just checking.
Why?
I don't know. It seems like the Republicans are on the come up with the taking the baths.
I can't lie. You might be right.
Okay, well, maybe
I mean, the amount of I didn't know that baths were that popular, but sometimes I'm just scrolling on TikTok and I see people taking baths on live streams.
bro, that's Dean's live stream, bro. Did you know someone came up to Dean and was like, "Are you the bath guy?" That shit's
I mean-
crazy, dude. Nice response, bro.
I think it's.
Continue on.
I got distracted with Dean taking a bath. Why is the bro in a bath in the middle of the debate?
Okay, you can move on. Go back to what you're saying.
Okay. What I'm saying is I think that even though that Trump has something like ICE that I don't fundamentally agree with, and I don't think that he should be separating families and illegally deporting people, I think the overall point still stands that underneath him, the border has been more secure. And just because the Democrats wanted to have a more secure border and they wanted to do it through legal processes, that's not what actually happens. And I think that conservatives in general and the Republican Party, the majority of the time is going to have a stronger border than someone like the Democrats. I feel like Democrats party, most of their policies are on all sunshines and rainbows, and it's not actually applicable most of the time. And that's
Really?
where
Can you give me one
disagree.
example?
Of sunshine and rainbows?
Yeah, and it's not applicable. Yeah.
Yeah, like rent control, taxing the rich at extreme numbers.
Taxing the rich
Um,
is completely applicable.
Uh,
I believe rent control can be bad in some
Public
circumstances,
run
but it has
grocery
some
stores.
good applications if greed is prevalent.
okay, public run grocery stores.
That's
And
fine
greed's
as
always
well.
gonna be
That's
prevalent.
competition in the market. There's no problem with that.
You're a fan of public run grocery stores?
I don't have a problem with that because it serves as competition within the market.
No, it does not.
It does. Public run grocery stores don't mean that there are no private run grocery stores. It just means that there's also public run grocery stores, which is both. So it's more competition.
Okay. So what happens when there's a public run grocery store? That means that prices are fundamentally going to drop because it's run by the public and they can get numbers of groceries at a much larger rate than private run grocery stores. So this means that when public grocery stores are open, the prices initially fall. So now there's private grocery stores that have stocks that are too expensive and the people are going to go to the public ones. So this automatically makes the private ones drop in price as well. Now, when both sectors are dropping in price, there's ultimately going to be a short run of food supply and food's just going to be wiped out everywhere. So it's a terrible idea.
Food
This
will
is like
be
something you
wiped
see-
out everywhere? No, that's bullshit. You're just being
Yes.
ridiculous.
Are
Food
you
will not be
serious?
wiped out everywhere because prices went down. Like what? You just complained about prices
Okay,
for
if
groceries
we
going down,
start-
by the way.
If we start introducing public grocery stores as a norm, and that starts
Wait, that's not
happening
even the-
all
wait,
around
by the
the
way,
U.S.,
I think you're being dishonest. You understand that like us applying one particular fucking grocery store in New York City is not us saying that there should be public run grocery stores across the entirety of the US. I
But
said I
here's
don't have
my
a problem with
problem.
that. I didn't say that we should have one in every single place around the US.
here's my problem.
But yeah,
with it,
that
though.
would be fine.
Because this is how democratic socialism. You guys just tie democratic to it.
I'm
but a
not
lot of people will see
democratic
Democrat-
socialist.
Okay, a lot of people will see these things as positives, and if they start being implemented slowly over time, this will go to a drastic effect and have drastic consequences for the broader United States
Be
of America.
specific. How?
Okay, so if New York opens a public grocery store in a small sector, somewhere like New York, right? Actually, it's a big sector, but if they open up a public run grocery store and it starts doing well, then that means that they're going to take it as the norm to start implementing them elsewhere.
Yeah, because if
However,
it
just
does
because
well,
one
that's a
given-
good example. Yeah, we should do that if
No,
it
it's
does
not.
well.
It's terrible. That's a terrible example.
If it does well, then why wouldn't you want to do it?
Because something like democratic socialism can work well.
That's not even
given
democratic
given small
socialism. That's a
community.
liberal policy.
That is not a liberal policy.
Yes, it is. What? You think
Since when?
you think a public run grocery store wouldn't be a liberal policy in consideration that like there are other private run grocery stores that exist as well?
No, I do not think that's a liberal policy. I think
It is
that's a
liberal
very
policy.
far left.
Can you define
socialist
socialism?
policy. Ow. Sorry, my shoulder hurts so bad right now.
Can you define socialism?
No, I cannot give you a definition. I can define communism though.
Okay, it's when the workers control the means of production. Okay? So this is not an example of the workers controlling the means of production. It's an example of a socialized grocery store. That's it.
So you would be fine if liberals started running on the idea that public grocery stores should be a thing?
I wouldn't have a big problem with that now.
Okay, but you studied economics, right?
Yeah, this doesn't negatively impact the economy if you provide more competition.
Parker, it's not more competition. It's hindering
not saying free
competition
food.
in and
It's
of
saying
itself.
that they sell the food at the cost of production.
Okay, then what's the point of... Tell me what do you think the point of public grocery stores is?
To reduce costs related to groceries.
Yes, and that's my whole entire point. If one sector is reducing the price, that means that the private sectors now have to compete with the prices of the public run grocery stores going down. So this means that the private sectors that have farmers and people producing foods are going to have to lower their prices. So all of the farmers, everyone
That doesn't mean the
producing
farmers have to
things
reduce
and
their
distributing
prices. I don't
food
see
into the
that.
grocery stores.
I disagree.
Of course they do. Of course they do.
Where do you
No,
think
'cause-
that the government gets the food from to sell
Yeah,
in government
The
grocery
same
stores?
fucking spot, yeah.
Yeah, from the farmers for the same prices. It's not going to be the farmers that have to reduce the price of the goods sold. It's going
the
to have
grocery
to
stores.
be the grocery stores in which resell those goods.
Okay, but if the grocery stores, if a farmer is producing something and they now have to sell it to a distributor that has to lower the price, that distributor is not going to pay the same amount of money for the groceries knowing that they're going to have to sell them for a lower price.
So then farmers are incentivized to sell their products to the public grocery stores, therefore reducing the prices for
yes.
groceries, which
and
is
now
good.
and now what happens to the private sectors? They're fundamentally going to lose money, and this is going to promote
Cope.
more public run grocery stores.
That's fine.
And that's a huge problem because if private sectors are no longer making money and it's up to the government to provide these goods, that means there is a huge this
he's
is
just
how
mad.
stuff
He's just mad that the private sector would have to compete with the public sector.
No, there's just no way.
We
I
do
know
this
that you
with,
don't.
like, for example, we do this with schools. Schools, we have public schools, and then we have private schools.
There's just I honestly don't think you know enough about public run grocery stores to have an opinion on it. If you think that the entire sect one day could move to public run grocery stores, that would
I never said the entire
fundamentally.
sect. That's not even what I claimed.
But one day, if
Why
you
are
want
you being
people,
dishonest? I never once fucking claimed the entirety of the market would be publicly run. No one claimed that. You asked if I would be okay if people started adopting this as a generalized policy
But
they
this is how
agreed with.
economics work. If you look
I'm
at
sorry, I know more
long-term
about
effects
economics
of
than you do.
economic
What the fuck are
policy.
you trying to do this bullshit for?
No, you don't.
Nothing about
You're
economics
not,
means
but-
that private run grocery stores would be a bad idea. Or public
Yes,
run,
that's
sorry.
that's a very common thing, and I think I
Where?
don't know a lot, but
No one ever said this
That
to me in
public-
economics
Can I
classes.
explain it to you? Can I explain it to you?
Yeah, go
or
ahead.
do you want to keep talking? Okay. This is from my own understanding. So if public run grocery stores are being promoted by liberals who are running for office, okay? This means that they are okay with introducing public run grocery stores. Again, these people will be able to produce goods cheaper than private run grocery stores. This will ultimately hinder private run grocery stores. They will now have to directly have their prices match public run grocery stores. However, they will no longer be incentivized.
Prices are gonna go
Are
down.
you really
No.
You're not gonna let me finish? Are you not gonna let me finish my sentence? When people are ultimately decentivized to do something and they no longer feel like it is worth their time or energy, the sector will fail. It will not completely fail, but it will fail in ways often unknown, especially when it's introduced by the government. So this means that the private sector is no longer working as efficiently as it once was because government regulations often hinder what was considered to be the equilibrium of a market when the government steps in. This means that public-run grocery stores will therefore now be seen as a positive thing. That means that more public grocery stores will be open. As more public grocery stores are continue to open, the prices will continue to fall because people now that price
How horrible,
of
actually.
public-run grocery
Okay,
stores
everybody. Prices for groceries, they're gonna fall, actually,
and
everybody,
the
under
food
this
will be
policy.
gone.
So
The food will
horrible,
be gone.
actually, okay?
All the food will be gone. You don't think it now?
All the food
If
will
this
be gone. No,
continues to
no
be a
argument
thing,
for that.
all the food will be gone.
Nope.
If okay, if everything,
Where the
I'm
fuck do you get
asking you now
all
a
the
different
food will be
question.
gone? That makes no fucking sense. What do you
Because
mean?
if all
The
the
farmers are
grocery
gonna stop
stores,
producing food, everybody.
if
Like, what?
all the grocery stores are now publicly run, do you think that there will be a lack of food supply? Yes or no?
No.
If all I just said,
If we
all
were
the
to assume
grocery
that all
stores are
grocery
publicly
stores are
run,
publicly funded, that does not mean that there's a lack of supply. Because grocery stores are the
but
distribution
yes, there
sites.
would be.
Wait,
Yes,
if
there
if they're
would
if
be.
they're
This is
sell
how.
if, wait, listen. If they're selling at cost of production and they're buying from farmers, what about that process will lead to no more food?
Because as public grocery stores continue to progress, and I gave you the hypothetical that every
Yeah,
single
I'm
grocery
assuming that.
store
Yeah.
would be publicly run,
Let's assume
that
every
means
single
that
grocery store is
prices, oh
publicly
no,
funded. What's the you
yes,
understand that it's not everything
that
socialized,
means
it's
that
that they sell at cost of
prices,
production.
yes. So how do prices get maintained and ultimately go up? Because of competition, because of inflation. However, if there is no longer competition and everything is publicly run, that competition no longer causes an increase in price. If there's no longer an increase in price, that means that food is ultimately staying the same. However, if this is projected to the long term, people now find that price too expensive. So prices will drop. And that
What?
means that there
No, it
will
would just be
be
sold at cost of production. I still don't know the issue.
no Parker. That's just not how public. I gave you the
Hold on, think of the
hypothetical.
galaxy.
If
What's the
every
issue? Are you
I
advocating for
just
higher prices for groceries?
I'm advocating for competition within a marketplace, especially in the
Because
type
you
of
want
society that we live
competition to
in,
reduce
where
prices, right?
capitalism.
Is public plus private more competition than just private alone?
I would not think so. It depends
Weren't you
on what you're talking
complaining
about.
that the private companies would have to compete with the public run grocery store?
I'm saying
So you don't
that
want
it
competition.
depends
You
on
want
what kind
less
of competition.
competition.
I'm saying it depends on what type of competition you're talking about. I think that a public sector for public-run grocery stores would create negative competition in terms that prices would ultimately
So now
hinder
he
the
doesn't want competition.
overall
So everybody,
possibilities
less
of private
competition, not
sectors.
more competition.
Because that's bad competition. When the government steps in and they try to provide goods that are unnatural to the given
So you disagree with
market,
public
it
schools.
ultimately distorts it.
So you disagree with public
That's
schools,
not
right?
that's you're equating two things that are not
So
the
so do you
same.
disagree with public schools? Yes or no?
No, why would I disagree with
But
public
those are
schools?
publicly funded. Apparently, under your view, they're distorting the market.
I'm saying that if we look at some circumstances, of course, when the government steps in, there will be a distortion in the overall market trends.
And you have
This
no
is one
problem
of
with
the
that with
examples,
schooling, right?
like publics. No, no problem at all.
Okay,
I
so
think
then
that the
what would be the
private
problem if it were
private
grocery
sector,
stores?
because in my opinion, under the school system, I think that the private sector does a better job. However, if we're
But you
looking
just said that
something
the
like
public
grocery
sector would
stores, I
have lower
think that
prices. When you say better job, what do you mean?
in education,
No, I'm specifically saying
what are you talking
for
about?
grocery stores. When you say better job, what do you mean?
I'm saying that they meet the needs of people because they understand supply and demand more than public
So would
grocery
public
stores do.
ones. Public ones still have to respond to
No, they
private.
don't.
Wait, public ones that are run publicly still have to respond to supply and demand because they're selling on
And
cost of
that will be
production.
that will be an unnatural level of supply and demand because prices will ultimately be distorted. The private sector takes into account regular
No, it's just
supply
that
and
equilibrium
regular
will be at
demand,
cost of
regular
production,
equilibrium.
genius.
I just honestly think that you're just lacking in your understanding of if all public grocery stores were publicly run.
I
mean,
don't think all of them would be
if all
public run, but you can't elucidate on what the problem would be if all of them were.
I gave it to you
By the way,
multiple
let me just be
times.
clear. I'm not advocating for this across the board. I just said I don't have a problem. And then you are pigeonholing me into arguing that I want all grocery stores to be publicly run. And by the way, even when I accepted that as a baseline to see what your argument would be against that, you had jack shit. You're an idiot. You have no clue what you're arguing. You don't even know what position you're holding right now.
It's kind of annoying when you call me an idiot when I'm trying to articulate myself and you're just failing to understand because I explained it quite well.
No, you didn't.
Again, I'm just... Yes, I did.
In your head, you explained it well. You did not explain it well in actual reality.
I explained it very well. Do you want me to explain it to you again?
No. I already understood. And I responded. What was your response to my position?
Your position is just basically saying that if public grocery stores were open, it would not be a bad thing because it's creating more competition. I agree with you that it's creating competition. It's just not the type of competition that we want to see in the marketplace.
And if it's not the type of competition that you want to see, that's okay. But I don't see the negative impacts that you are establishing with that competition. You're just saying it'd be negatively impactful to private businesses, which, yeah, that could be true. It could get rid of profits for for-profit companies relating to grocery stores. And if you think that could have negative consequences, I guess, but it's in the distribution process. It's different than the production process.
Okay, but a place like a grocery store is not trying to make off the margin profits.
Yeah, I never said that as well. I never said that as well. I just said I would be okay with it.
Okay, so this is my point. So now that you're following
Wait, by the way,
closely.
so this is the one policy, the one thing that exists in one state or city around the entirety of the U.S. is one policy that Zohran Mamdani is advocating for. Can you name me a single? Can you name me one other Democrat advocating for this?
But this is just an annoying thing. I like when people
Can you name me any other Democrat that advocated for this?
James Tallarico, or whatever his name is.
James Tallarico never advocated for public run grocery stores. You're wrong.
I think he did.
No, he didn't. You just made that up. I don't know why you did that.
I'm almost positive he did.
Okay, go find the source.
Ow.
Also, can we mention that I'm not a legislator? But, I mean, we'll talk about that in a bit.
Can you search it up? I don't have it on my computer.
Yeah.
I can go grab it from my bag.
I don't see anywhere where he says that he's okay with a public run grocery store. Now he's like public vouchers for voucher programs for like healthy food and stuff.
Wait, can we get back to your point? Because your point was almost about to align with mine, and then you kind of switched the topic.
I think you're being you're the one who's switching the topic right now. Can you admit that James Tallarico did not say that?
I mean, I genuinely think he did, but I guess he did not. If you're pulling it up and it doesn't say that he did.
Yeah, I don't see anything. I just looked it up.
Okay, so let me finish my final point and then we can switch topics. So you and I just both agreed that grocery stores in and of themselves are not necessarily trying to make huge profit margins. They're simply receiving the food and they're selling them within the grocery store.
Well, I mean, they want to, but they can't.
Okay.
Like every business wants to make the largest margin they can. That's how capitalism works.
Yes. So if prices are changing, and now you can either go to a private run grocery store or a public run grocery store. The one in the private sector will be more expensive. And this means that farmers are they're making more profit. People supplying the goods to these grocery stores.
They're making the same amount whether they sell it to the private or to the public.
No, they won't, though.
Okay, what is the difference for the farmer?
Because now take this. Now the private sector is going to have to match the prices of the public sector. Otherwise, they will be at a disadvantage. Now, when the private sector now has to match the prices...
Also, by the way, that's just like not also completely true. Like, you have to consider like the type of consumer that would be going to a public-run grocery store versus those that go private, and how expansive that those would be.
On a general basis,
the fact that we're spending so much time on this for you to provide nothing is kind of embarrassing. But
because you're not listening and you don't understand the simplicity of basic economics.
I don't understand basic economics. Shut the fuck up. You're an idiot. You've provided nothing of basic economics to demonstrate. What about basic economics did I not understand? Tell me.
I'm telling you right now that if the private sector now has to compete with publicly run grocery stores and their prices are too high because the public sector is able to do it more efficiently, the private sector will have to
So the public sector is more efficient. You just conceded.
No, I'm not conceding. Can you listen to my final point?
You just said the public sector is more efficient.
I'm saying who it's going to hurt.
You just said the public run grocery store is more efficient.
Are not good in this term because
did you not just say that it was more efficient?
It's more efficient in terms of the cost will be lower, but that's not more efficient in a perfect
Define efficient.
run. Efficient is what benefits the majority of people and progresses the economy.
Okay. So then, can you tell me how it would be less efficient?
Yes. Okay. Can I please speak and finish my thought, and then you can comment?
Okay.
So now the private sector has to compete with public-run grocery stores, okay?
Okay.
If the private sector now has to sell their goods for less than they were beforehand, this means that the people producing the goods are no longer going to be receiving the same price. Because why would a previously run grocery store be buying it at the same price when they now have to sell it for less? So this means that ordinary people can get groceries for cheaper, but the people producing those goods to the grocery stores will ultimately not be receiving the same amount of money.
Okay. Here's the issue with that. Okay. The business that is buying it from the perspective of the grocery store, they're paying the same level of price that the private market is. Could that change over time? Yes, that could change over time. And it could be the case that it's more reflective specifically within the context of the private businesses or the public businesses' reflective costs. But it just depends on the conditions of the market. Who's specifically going to be around that proximity to that specific business, whether they even like going to the public grocery stores in the first place. Some people probably just prefer private. Would there still even be able to maintain profitability given those standards, given those margins? Probably. Right? Is it the case that all public run grocery stores around the entire world have led to complete socialization of grocery stores and the lack of an ability for farmers to make as much money? No. The impacts that happen in terms of these market conditions are very, very minimal. Okay? You're talking about one grocery store in one city in one hyper-specific location. Okay? And now you say, oh, let's assume every single grocery store is a public-run grocery store. Okay? Then who are they competing with then that will then drive down the prices for farmers?
They're competing with ultimately destroying
other public-run grocery stores. So it's all public-run grocery stores. Then there's no one they're competing with that would be able to drive down prices for farmers.
No, but in order for us to get to that point, you're moving past.
Okay, sorry, I'm going to actually interrupt you. I won't interrupt Parker, but I am going to interrupt you. Parker, I'll be right back on my main account. I'll probably hang out with you until you end this debate, but I'll be right back on the main. I'm going to go upload a video. I'll be back in like 2 minutes.
All right, bet.
Okay. I hope you don't think that I'm trying to be mean because I'm just trying to get my point across. But all I'm trying to say is that in order to get to that point of there being fully run public grocery stores, there would be a lot of harm in doing so. Do I believe that in some circumstances, like New York,
that's a
publicly run grocery store?
That's a different claim. Saying that there would be harm associated with it isn't the same claim as saying it would be worse off for the market as a whole.
I still do think that it will be worse off of a market as a whole because of those
we can see these
steps.
Borne out. If you'd like to provide empirics of that, you can. This is just your thoughts and feelings and your assumptions about the matter right now.
Venezuela, they had publicly run grocery stores.
Wait, I'm sorry. You can't just point to Venezuela and say, oh, everything is just going to be explained by Venezuela. When there have been publicly run grocery stores in Denver, there's been publicly run grocery stores all across the U.S. There's been publicly run grocery stores specifically in Europe. Right, and they've had different impacts. They've had different impacts than Venezuela. You can't just point to Venezuela and say, "Oh, that's explanation for everything, sir."
Because here's my thing.
Now again, can we move on from public grocery stores? We've spent the past 20 minutes talking about public grocery stores.
Yes, we can, but it's just a little bit disappointing to me. If you would have just said initially that in some circumstances that you would be okay with publicly run grocery stores, I just have a problem.
That's what I fucking said.
But
that's genuinely what I said.
But then I asked you a different hypothetical, and I said, would you be okay if all public grocery stores were run by the public? And
I wouldn't have a problem.
Yeah, but
is that my argument? Am I saying this is what we should do?
But if you don't have a problem with it, that means that you would be okay with it happening. Therefore,
I wouldn't have much. If it didn't lead to negative outcomes, I wouldn't have a problem with it. If it does lead to negative outcomes, I would have a problem with it.
Yeah, but you should be able to see that those negative outcomes would outweigh the positive ones just from a simple analysis.
You need to have empirics to be able to demonstrate that.
Okay, we can move on from this topic because...
Do you agree that you need empirics to demonstrate the net effects?
Yes, but those empirics are going to be coming from situations that they have been promoted in specific
So he's like
circumstances.
saying, "Oh, we can't
However,
accept the empirics."
we can accept the empirics, and if we look at the empirics for places that have totally been run by public grocery stores, they're very bad. They're horrible. They're
Nate, give me one
terrible.
example other
Venezuela,
than
like I just
Venezuela.
told you. Venezuela is the one that comes to my mind.
Give me a different country.
Colombia probably has had lots of publicly run grocery stores.
Not probably. Do you want to go look it up?
Wait, so you won't take the one that I said? You want multiple examples?
I want something other than Venezuela. Yeah,
Okay, let me go get my computer.
because I would think that's downstream of other impacts, not specifically just the grocery stores.
Okay, here we go.
Claire, thank you very much for the $5. Thank you very much. W for the VOD. W for the VOD. Vera, thank you very much for the $25. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I try my hardest. I really do. Hudson, thank you very much for the $5. Thank you very much. We should. Harmony, thank you for the $10. Thank you very much. Samantha, thank you for the $5. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Katie with the $5. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I would have to be able to look through. I also don't specifically do things like that on the stream, but if I could look through. As well as Lisa, thank you very much for the $40. Thank you very much. I really appreciate Lisa sending you this for your for you to enjoy, for putting up with the MAGA nonsense and all you do to help educate people. Well, thank you so much. As well as Lisa, thank you for the $5. Matthew, thank you for the $20. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Get some W's for Matthew in the comment section for the $20 on YouTube Super Chat. Thank you very much. As well as Jenna, thank you so much for the $20. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, I'll have to take a look into that. Thank you very much. As well as Altered, thank you for the $5. Kenzie with the $2. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, so here we go.
That yeah,
Perfectly.
it's crazy. That is something I definitely want to talk about more,
Oh,
especially.
sorry.
And Lila, thank you for the $2. Sorry, you found what?
Yeah. I mean, I could have said the Soviet Union to begin with, but this is a prime example of how bad it happened. So nearly all Soviet retail food distributions ran through state-owned.
I'm sorry.
gas
Can you give me like a liberal country? Because I think all of these are going to be downstream of those broader socialist policies.
You're changing.
Yeah,
Because Parker.
I'm asking you for an example of a liberal country demonstrating this, not like the Soviet Union or Venezuela. Those are not models I'm advocating for. Okay?
Why did you mute me? I haven't talked over you once the entire time.
I wanted to clarify that point. You gonna cry about it?
No, it's just a little weird why you muted me when I haven't
I just
spoken
told
over
you.
probably the entire debate. Okay, so that's my overarching point of why I fundamentally disagree with what you said.
Give me something other than
when
the
you said
Soviet Union
English-
and Venezuela. Those are not systems I'm advocating
Because-
for. I
because
want something
the-
that's
the thing-
hyper-specific to the effect of this, not downstream of things that could be relevant to like the Soviet Union, how it's performing as a whole, or Venezuela, how it's performing as a whole.
Because surprise, surprise, in order to get to the position where every grocery store is publicly run, it would be a communist state. That's why I have a
I'm
problem.
not
with you
advocating for
saying
every
that.
single dude. I'm not advocating for everyone. I'm asking just for the impacts of
Perfect.
of the
Perfect. Good.
Hey, I was asking for the impacts of a grocery store being applied, not of every single one being a grocery store or a public grocery store.
That's what I was trying to find you.
No,
Because I'm saying
dude, I'm looking for specifically like them just being implemented from a liberal standpoint. I wasn't talking about the one across the board. Again, that's not
Okay,
a
so you would
policy I'm advocating for implementing. And by the way, the Soviet Union and Venezuela, those are mandated, right? It's not just like they just left it up to the fucking private conditions and we're gonna add one to see how it works. No, they fucking mandated it.
Okay, can I
Especially
speak
the
for a
Soviet
second?
Union. Do you agree?
Can I speak for a second? Yes, I agree. But here's my thing,
That's
Parker,
different
is
than what
I
I
did
was
not
saying.
have a Okay, can I speak for without you interrupting me, please?
Yeah. Just don't cry.
Okay, I haven't cried the entire time. I haven't interrupted you the entire time. So it's disappointing when you debate people who actually want to debate with you. You call them idiots. You call them names. When you debate people who are the exact extreme as me, you also say the same thing. So it's hard for me to know. But what my overarching point is I did not have a problem when you said that in some circumstances, publicly run grocery stores could be fine, like in New York City. However, I then gave you a hypothetical and I said, if all grocery stores were publicly run, would you have a problem with that? And you said no. And then I pointed you to things like the Soviet Union and Venezuela in order to
That's
get
not
to
what
a
I
point
asked you
where
for.
all grocery
Shut the fuck up, dude.
What-
I didn't ask you for that. I asked you for a source that demonstrated the publicly run grocery
Parker,
stores
you
had
cut me
negatively
off.
impacts. I told you. I'm telling you what I asked you for because you misunderstood what I asked you for. You fuck. idiot. You don't pay attention to what I say. I asked you specifically for a hyper-specific publicly run grocery store.
You
What
said
was the
you wouldn't
impact?
have a problem with it.
I never explicitly said that I wanted a
Word for word, that's what you said.
I never explicitly said that I wanted you to find a source that looked at the effect of mandated publicly run grocery stores. I asked you because you specifically said there would be a negative impact from the type of grocery stores that like Zoran Mamdani is advocating for. You have to understand the difference in how these are policies. Yeah, wait. When you brought up publicly run grocery stores, were you not referencing Mamdani's position?
I'm saying that the reason I have a problem with it is because it's setting the standard.
Were you referencing Mamdani's position?
Yes, I was.
I can't talk to these people, dude. So obviously the conversation was about specifically how Mamdani was applying it. We're not talking about how the Soviet Union was applying it. We're talking about how Mamdani was. You're saying the Mamdani position, is inevitably going to lead to the Soviet Union? Is that your position?
Yes. I'm saying
that this is why I called you fucking stupid. Like, you really want me to interact with that?
Can I continue talking before you interrupt me?
No, do you want me to interact with that? Is that really what you want me to fucking respond to?
I'm not saying that it will ultimately lead to a Soviet Union.
You just said.
Donald.
I was saying.
Take a breath.
Yes.
Take a breath, bro. Take a breath. I haven't spoken at all. Just take a breath real quick.
I was saying yes.
Just one moment.
I don't.
Just one moment, bro.
Literally think that.
Just one moment, bro. You blundered, bro. Parker asked you if you ultimately think that Zoran Mamdani's position on government-run grocery stores will lead to something like the Soviet Union. And you said yes. And then Parker asked you the question
yes or no question.
and or explained to you why your answer was ridiculous. And then you said, well, I actually didn't give that answer because that's not what I think. Okay, I actually want to ask you a quick question, bro. Quick question, bro. Just real quick. So when Jesus was on Mount Sinai and shit, given free fish and wine to the 400, would your response to that be, oh, look at my Lord being all chill and shit, helping out the needy? Or would your response be, this must be detrimental to the free market?
Is that a serious question? You want me to answer that seriously?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, I would say that he was doing a good thing by feeding the hungry.
Okay, so giving out food for free is doing a good thing, but giving out food at a discounted price is doing a bad thing.
Sometimes I'm a bit confused by you guys because you're so smart and then you come up with hypotheticals like that.
Oh, bro,
like
feel free to critique it. If it's stupid, then explain why it's stupid.
What pisses me off with people like him is that he tries to portray himself as nice, but then says the most condescending bullshit like, oh, dude, I think you're really smart, but then you're going to call us, you're going to imply that we're being dumb or being stupid with the position. Like, you're trying to portray it like you're being nice, but then it's like a backhanded compliment.
Okay, in my school, sometimes the
and
people at the cash register, they would... No, I agree. I shouldn't have said that. It was mean. But at my school, sometimes when you're getting food at my old high school, the cash person would pay for you if they thought that you weren't in the best circumstances. If we use that as if then that person got free food and they were happy about it, or they got a discount, and then the person next to them thought, okay, now I deserve a discount. Then the person after them thought, I deserve a discount. Just because doing something nice for one person doesn't mean it should be the laid foundation for how we treat a whole society. That's just not how things work.
Oh, so basically you're saying that Jesus did something good by giving free food to the 400 on Mount Sinai. But Jesus would have been doing bad if he gave free food to more than the 400 on Mount Sinai.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if we're looking
what you're saying is that there's some distinction between the amount of people which are deserving the discounts that are free good. By the way, I'm going to sit on that for 3 seconds. Feel free to respond to Parker.
And also, we can't be comparing someone like Jesus to someone like us, because Jesus doing that was incomprehensible, because to him, food isn't the same way that you and I view it, because he is beyond, he can provide that without anything else. He can simply provide food. We can't do that. It comes to a cost to us. To Jesus, it did not come to a cost to him.
But your issue wasn't that the cost. Your issue was the outcome. Due to the reduction in cost. If, for example, if Jesus gave everyone a bunch of food, it would reduce the costs specifically within the context of grocery stores because people wouldn't have to go to the grocery store to get the food as much because they got it from Jesus. So the same negative impact that you just cited that would exist from the public grocery stores is something that would also be a downstream within the context of our society right now of Jesus giving everyone food.
Yeah, it sounds like, listen, bro, I understand why you called it stupid, Donald, because it kind of does seem stupid on like face value, but after like some intellectual exploration, it's actually not too stupid, because like as Parker just described, the quote unquote cost would be the detriment to the free market. But I'm actually gonna go and start my life, Parker. This dude's a bot. Have fun with him.
I've cooked you multiple times with hundreds of thousands of views. But
Oh wait. Do you know that you've cooked me?
I mean, I have millions of views.
Just yes or no. Do you know that you've cooked me before?
Yes, I've clipped you.
Oh, okay. What does it mean to know something?
To have evidence for it.
Oh, wait. So could you have evidence for things that are ultimately false?
Yes.
Okay, so you think that you can know false things?
No.
Okay, so then that's not what it means to know something.
Okay, do you think that's cool that you just gave that little definition of your philosophical framework and definitions, but you didn't?
Wait.
You guys learn things from YouTube.
No, I didn't provide a definition of the word no. So not only did you just like blunder on your own definition of the word no, but then you blundered it again by stating that I gave a definition of the word no. Yeah, I just thought I'd give you,
because knowing is a thought of
like
form,
two quick blunders.
and form is a thought of philosophy. So if you actually know anything in the world, it has to be fundamental.
Wait, have you ever learned something from my stream?
And initiation comes from
Hey, buddy.
Substantiation.
Hey, buddy.
What?
Have you ever learned something from my stream or Dean's stream?
Yeah, I have.
So you learn things from TikTok or YouTube?
Yeah, I do.
So
But
then why
that's
did you
not where
just
my source of
criticize that
information
on
will
behalf
come
of us?
from.
You just said we learned
That's not
things
where my
from...
source of information ultimately
That's not
comes
what his
from.
source
My source
was.
of information ultimately comes from the morals that I have imbibed within me. And I think that in order to have morals, they're fundamental, of course, but
Wait,
you
you think
guys
that knowledge
deny
comes
them
from
once and
morality?
once again. I think that morals come from morality? No, I think that morals
No,
are
I asked you.
innate within-
Well, third blunder. I asked you if you think that knowledge comes from morality.
Do I think that knowledge? No, I don't.
Okay, so then why the fuck are you explaining your internal morals when you're trying to describe knowledge?
Because I think that morals have to coincide with knowledge to some extent, but I don't think that they ultimately are based
Okay,
upon
so
each
then what
other.
does it mean to know something?
What does it mean to know something? I don't think
Yeah,
that
no.
anyone can be sure if they know something or not. So I don't think that the definition is pointless to describe.
Are you
Oh,
sure
wait,
your
In
mom
order
loves
to
you?
know something,
Wait,
I
are you
think
sure that
in
you know
order
your
to
mom
know
loves you?
something-
Wait, are you sure that
Yes,
you know
I'm
your
sure of
mom
that.
loves you?
Yeah, but she could be lying. So I have to
Wait,
look at the
so you're not
probability, the chance.
So you're not sure
Okay,
that your mom loves you?
To be sure or to know something or two
Wait, are
different
you
things.
sure that you
To
know
be
that your
sure
mom
of
loves you?
something- Am I sure of it? Yes, but do I know it to be the case?
What does it mean to know
without
something?
doubt? No,
What
I
does
do
it
not.
What does it mean to know something? Just tell me. What does it mean to know something?
To know something means to stake your life upon it.
So if you
Oh my
stake your
God!
life
Wait,
upon-
you did not just give the definition Jordan Peterson gave.
Wait. Also, I'll just run this down real quick.
Jordan
Earlier,
Peterson.
remember when you said that you can't know false things?
Can I know false things?
No, earlier, remember when you said you can't know false things? Remember when you said that?
I mean, you can know false things. They can just ultimately be false.
Oh, wait. So you're actually just completely like conceding and backtracking on your earlier answer to that question.
Well, because I like to be precise in my definitions that you're using. Can I know something to be false?
So
I
by
can
the
know
way,
something
that's
to be
something
false.
that is
Yes.
That is. Oh, wait. No, you know it. You know it to be true that the thing is false. I'm asking you if you could literally know false things.
No, you cannot.
Okay, but you just define knowing something as staking your life on it. Is it possible to stake your life on a false thing?
I wouldn't. Stake my
I'm not
life on a
asking
false
you if
thing.
you would. I'm asking you if it's possible to do.
Oof.
Yeah, I think it is.
Oof.
Okay, contradiction.
Okay, again, you think that these little
Thanks for the
gossip
third
moments-
contradiction in the last 60 seconds. You understand the only reason why I'm doing this to you is because you said that you've destroyed me in plenty debates. So I just thought
I
I'd
have
like.
destroyed you in plenty of
I
debates.
thought I'd
Time
yield
and
at
time
least,
again, I've destroyed you in
I
plenty of
thought that
debates.
I'd yield at least 4 contradictions from you before I go
Your
start my
key
life.
definitions of what defining something is equivocally false
Hey,
because
Donald,
the
I have a
definitions you're
question.
providing
I have a question.
are not accurate in their definitions.
Since you've quote unquote cooked Dean so many times, will you be his first guest on a stream?
He's not gonna let me up. He's scared to debate me.
He'll destroy
What do you
you
wanna-
right now repeatedly.
Yeah, bro. What do you want to debate on?
I like to debate on the existence of a god because you're an agnostic, and I think you should believe that there's some power.
This doesn't seem
Power.
this doesn't seem too concerned with if Trump is a good president. How about some topic concerning
But
even
you like philosophy, and you said that you wanted to move into terms of philosophy. So I think if I gave you the argument for a God that you could not deny, you could no longer be an agnostic, but you'd have to come to the acceptance that there's a higher being
Yeah,
with some
right.
higher order structure.
Okay, you want to let's see if you just possess like the bare essentials to have a philosophical discussion with me. I just have a couple quick questions for you. Okay, what's a fallibilist?
What is it?
Yeah, bro.
It's something that, given the premises, it cannot be true.
The fuck? No, that's not what it is at all. You actually referenced infallibilism earlier when you said in order to know something, it has to be certainly true. So I just thought I don't know, maybe you'd be concerned with the philosophical concepts that you are mentioning, but it seems like you're just LARPing by making false claims as it would relate to epistemology.
One of those premises is
Are you sure that you want to have a conversation with me about philosophy, Donald? Are you positive? Okay, let's just be even easier. What's JBT? Actually, sorry, JTB.
JTB or JBT?
JTB.
Then why did you say JBT?
I blundered.
It doesn't
bro.
sound like
I just
He
misspoke.
accidentally misspoke.
justified true belief.
Oh, okay. What is a justified true belief?
I mean, it goes back to Plato's. Like I forget what it was, but it's analysis of knowledge.
No, bro. So a JBT, a justified true belief, was
It's
the,
analysis of knowledge,
Was yeah. Google was right.
and
bro.
it's symbols.
Was the pre-Gettian account for knowledge? Now, what was the post-Gettian account for knowledge? JBT
No, it's
plus a
not.
diffusion-
It's
Bro,
not
what?
Gideon.
No,
It's-
bro.
no,
oh my
it's
goodness,
Plato.
It's a loss. I said it's a
It's
pre-Gideon.
Plato.
You're actually lost, buddy. Let me tell you this. This is very important. for you to
Pre-Gideon?
understand. This is-
Okay, sure.
This is
But-
very important for you to understand. You're actually still lost. When I said that JDP is a pre-Gideon account of knowledge, that's because this philosopher named Giddey absolutely fucking destroyed JBT and demonstrated why it's an insufficient account for knowledge. So then we had post-Gettian accounts for knowledge and theories of knowledge, which would be like JTB plus a condition, like a defeasibility condition, that was able to account for, Getty's critiques of JTB. So I think that you're gonna have to know these fundamentals if you want to have a philosophical conversation with me, bub. Maybe it's worth, just like hitting the books and like researching before you, I don't know, want to entertain a conversation with big dogs.
Realize that philosophers who ignited the start for philosophy did not necessarily even use the definition that you're using. The fundamental beliefs of philosophy outlies most of the terms that people use nowadays. The reason that you guys hold to these terms is to sound more intelligent than the quote unquote normal person. However,
It's not
just to
about sounding more
simply
intelligent.
engage
It's just about being accurate.
simply engage with philosophical frameworks and philosophical ideas are not necessarily that hard to articulate or to understand. That is what makes philosophy, because you can look at something like the contingency argument that has very easy to understand terms, but then people like
That's his
you think
argument
it's
for God.
cool.
That's what he was going to say is irrefutable.
Oh, okay. Let me ask you a quick question. Let's just see if you can.
That's
hang.
not
What
not
it-
even what I said.
So, do you know what a hylomorphic animalist is? Since you're so concerned with God.
No, I do not.
No. How
Okay,
about this? Since you brought up the contingent argument, what is the difference between a contingent fact and a necessary fact?
The contingent fact is ultimately dependent on something else in the material world. Necessary fact can explain its own existence. It's like a contingent thing has potential, whereas a necessary thing lays outside of that potential.
I guess you're getting to the idea. It's that contingent is that it's true in some possible worlds. Necessary, it's true in all possible worlds.
Anyways, bro,
Yeah.
just like next time, think before you speak. But anyways, I'm gonna go start my own life, Parker. I appreciate you.
You're
brother.
not very.
Easy, bro.
You're smart, but like you think you're way smarter than you are. But it's all right.
I think that's
you
applicable
know that?
to you, bro.
Wait, one second, Donald. Do you know that?
I do know that to be true.
Okay.
And I have to take my life
Do you
on
agree that knowledge would require justification?
Yes.
And what's your theory of justification?
My theory of justification is if you look at the way you hold yourself and you talk to your guests, you come across as you hold some sort of
this isn't a theory of
authority over
justification.
people.
Would you like me to run you down like the 3 common theories of justification?
Again,
your foundationalism in response to the first.
You're proving my point. You're proving my point. You are
to the first
proving my
aspect
point.
of the Agrippist
You
trilemma.
are literally
Then you have
proving my point.
coherentism, which is a response to the second aspect of the
You're
Agrippist
proving my
trilemma.
point.
And then you have
You're proving my
infinitism,
point.
which is a response to the third aspect of the Agrippist
Thank
trilemma.
you for proving
Dude,
my point.
I'm just asking you. I'm just asking you what your theory of justification is. That's all.
So much for proving my point.
Well, but what point?
Thank you so much for proving my point.
I mean, dude,
I already run you guys over.
You
I already
just
run
said
you
that,
guys over
I'm a
with
dumb little silly
economics.
guy.
I don't
and
even
then you said that
study
was
philosophy.
justified. So I'm just asking you.
I don't even study philosophy. I don't even study philosophy. I just understand basic knowledge of philosophy, and I absolutely run you guys over on economic theory because neither of you guys understand the very fundamental
You didn't
basics.
do shit.
Parker said that he
You're
would
being
be okay if
ridiculous.
all the grocery stores were publicly run. That you said you would
Okay.
be okay with that. You don't have a problem with it,
Okay, and
and you have an economics degree, and that's what
Yeah.
you said.
yeah,
Okay.
as long if it doesn't have negative impacts, I have no
Okay.
problem with that.
As long as that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. As long
That
as
if
it doesn't have
if an
negative
economic policy doesn't have
impacts,
negative impacts, I wouldn't have a problem with it. If that naturally
I'm
occurred in
actually
the market,
so,
I'm actually leaving now. You
that
guys take care.
is so funny.
yeah. Wait, listen.
That's actually
What you
that
were
actually
saying
makes
it was
me laugh.
downstream of is you said it was a specific. We put one firm in place, like a public-run grocery store in place, and inevitably, because it was so great, right? Everyone started adopting it, and it was all across the entirety of the market. Didn't have negative impacts, and everyone adopted it because it had so many positive impacts. Would I have a problem with that? No. That was the condition
shit.
of the entirety of what was brought up. So if you're going to sit there and act like I'm dumb because
not-
I accepted that, well, then what you've
That was
done
not the
is you've
condition.
just fucking owned yourself.
That is not the condition.
That was the condition. That was
I
what
gave
the
you.
entire basis
No.
of the conversation. Why are you limiting
No.
context?
No. You in
Wait,
your
wait,
in
so
your own
are you
mind,
saying that was not the context?
No, I'll explain the context. I'm saying in your own mind, you believe that if one grocery store in New York City that is publicly run as having positive benefits, that means that other people would start adopting them. And because
That's not
one
mine. That was
given
what you brought
location-
up. That's what you
Wait,
said,
so
not
then
me.
you
What the
don't-
fuck is wrong with you?
So you don't want there to be more publicly run grocery
Wait,
stores.
wait, wait. No, you made the claim, the theory, that if one particular place adopted it, that everywhere else would start adopting it, and it would now be across the entire market. That's your argument, not mine.
Yeah, that is my argument. Yes, it is.
Okay, so why
Yes.
were you arguing that was mine?
I didn't argue that was yours.
Dude,
I'm saying that you
you
would
have the
agree with-
you have goldfish memory. I'm elevated, but
Would
you have
would you
goldfish
agree with it?
memory.
Would you agree with
You
it?
need,
Yes
you
or
need
no?
to watch back this debate later. Your memory is of a
Would
goldfish.
you agree with it? Yes or no? Would you agree with it? Yes
Would I
or
agree
no?
with what?
That if a publicly run grocery store was having positive outputs and doing well, would other places start adopting public grocery stores?
Yeah, they might adopt it in small amounts, not fully across the board
Oh,
everywhere, but small amounts.
Oh, so it is your argument as well, because it's common sense.
No,
and my argument is
There's
common
two
sense.
different points here. One is that in small amounts they would
It's so
adopt it in
funny.
different. Wait, listen. You have to understand the difference between in one place that people would be able to accept it in small amounts to test it to see how it would work specifically within their areas, not that it would be 100% across the board, full control of the market. That's what you were arguing. That's literally what you said.
I don't want to be on bad terms with you. I think you're a cool person. I agree with most of the stuff you say. So
Is that not
hopefully
what
you're
you said,
pissed.
though?
I might. Yeah, that probably is. I honestly don't know word for word what I said, but my overall point, and because I don't want you to be mad, my overall point.
Just
is
because I don't
that
want
I
you
think-
to be mad. That's such a disingenuous thing.
No, I'm gonna say my point. Like I'm still gonna say what I think.
That's just
Like, I'm just
fake
saying, I
being
don't
nice.
think
You know that, right?
You think I've been mean to you throughout the entire debate?
I said that was faking being nice. Faking being nice doesn't necessarily mean that you're being rude. Unless you consider being
Okay.
fake nice rude. Which
I do
there's an
think
argument
that
for.
Okay, so my overall point, and maybe we can agree with this, and then we can end the debate. My overall point is that in some circumstances,
Go join Dean's Live.
publicly run grocery store. Is
I
he waiting
really
for me
do
to
have
debate him?
I do have to get going here pretty soon. I'm like
So take
30.
like 20 seconds.
Okay, I'll wait the 20
20
seconds,
seconds.
but I'm like 30 minutes after I was supposed to get off, just letting you know.
Okay, so in some circumstances, do you think that publicly run grocery stores can be good? I say yes.
I have to see the impacts empirically.
Okay.
I would assume yes.
Okay, sure. Okay, I would also have to see the results. However, I do not think that would set the standard to say that all grocery stores should be publicly run just because one of them is producing good results. Would you say yes or no?
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think that just because we see some good results from one specific grocery store, publicly run grocery store, that means that it should be adopted across the board everywhere around the U.S. That would be absurd.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you.
I feel like you were interpreting what I was saying to be more unhinged than what it really was. Like me saying
think so
I'm
too.
okay if these conditions happened isn't even me saying I support or I think this is good or this is what I want. It's literally just me saying I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I just wouldn't have said that myself, but
That's
I
okay.
can see where you're coming from. All right. Adios.
Are you joining Dean's live?
If he lets me up, but he's so scared to debate me. I'm telling you, I have so
You
many
better hurry
clips
up.
of just absolutely destroying him on the internet.
Hurry up. Hurry up. Go.